Hey everybody, so I know in the previous video I said the next one was going to be trying to get the BMW running, or not running, get the engine running. But I decided to do the leaf springs on my Suburban here instead. So I just finished installing the driver's side one. And it ended up being a way bigger pain in the ass than it was supposed to be. So at first, I put the, I didn't know how I was going to get this bolt out back here because obviously this wheel well, this spare tire carrier is in the way. So I saw all around here, it's all these bolts going all the way around, and there's a couple on the inside. But, you know, I didn't want to deal with the seam sealer. Because taking that off could have been a major headache. So what I ended up doing is cutting a big old hole right there so I can get the bolt out. Now I got the pieces right here, so once I'm done putting these wheels back on, I'm gonna go tack these in place and then weld it back. It's not gonna be super pretty, especially since it's super dirty, but this is just plain carbon steel, so it shouldn't be super difficult to do. So I'm just gonna use the TIG to tack these back into place, and then I'm just gonna go over it with a stick because I don't have a MIG welder. But before I do that, got to put the wheels on. So I'm about to do that. Got my impact right there. And then once I'm done with that, I got to cut all of this material up because I don't have an extension cord for my welder and it runs off of 240. So I got to bring the Suburban back here, move my trash cans out of the way, and then get my welder over here as far as it'll go. And my Suburban as far back as I can get it. I might have to come around and back it in from like right here just so I can get some more access to it. I don't know, I'll figure it out. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to put these wheels on. I hope I lifted it up far enough. Yeah, this job ended up being a lot harder than it needed to be. So also with this one, I thought this locator stud that goes underneath here, I thought it was centered on this I-beam, and it turns out it's not. It's about 25 inches from the front and about 29 inches from the rear. So when I put this in here, it was backwards, and this pin, this locator pin, was all the way over here. So I took it out, flipped it around, and then I had to move the axle around a little bit to get it to seat properly. So now I need to get my socket. So a lot of the times people have these just memorized on what size they are. Mine is because I got a whole bunch of impact marks here around it. Anyway, I'm sure most of you guys know how to put a tire on, so I'm gonna get these two tires on off camera, get my jacks out of the way, go cut that steel, and then next time you see this Suburban will be backed up over there somewhere. All right, so I got it. I got the wheels back on, obviously. Just went for a quick test drive. The issue that I was hoping to solve was not solved. So one of the biggest problems I'm having with the Suburban just in general is a lot of body sway. This truck is 40 years old, 41 years old, and everything on it is 41 years old. So when I did the front suspension, one thing I didn't do was the coil springs and the sway bar. And then when I was doing the rear leaf springs, I noticed that this truck just doesn't have a rear sway bar. So I'm gonna get try and find like a performance version of a front and rear sway bar, and then throw those on here, and then replace the coil springs as well. So hopefully that'll take care of the body sway problems that I'm having, so I can actually like enjoy this without it like trying to swerve all over the road and everything. I can get in alignment and I can start dealing with all this rust and stuff like that hole right there. But right now, that hole is the priority. So I've got my little piece somewhere. I don't remember. I think I threw it in here. Yeah. So I got my little piece right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this tacked up. I'm probably just gonna do the rest of this off camera, honestly. because I don't want to ruin my GoPro. And the sun's, I don't, it doesn't really look like it, but the sun's starting to go down. So yeah, I've only got about 45 minutes of daylight left, and I don't know how long it's going to take for me to set all of this stuff up and actually get it done. Alright, so I'll get back to you guys when this is back in there. Okay, so what was a quick frame skip for you guys ended up being like 2.5 days for me. So that patch panel ended up not really going as going to plan. So I'm going to take this thing apart instead. I was going to take that apart, but I looked at it for like 5 seconds and then immediately stopped. This seemed like it was easier. Anyway, so I got a lot of these cables off. The guy that sold this to me tried to keep everything together, so everything for the most part is still good. I don't think he cut anything, or might have cut 1 or 2 things. I don't remember what they were, and I haven't. Oh yeah, so this one right here. So right now I'm just trying to get this out of the way. But to do that, I need to disconnect. I think these are the injectors. My hands are a little too fat to get in there, so might just cut these zip ties here, and then just lift this up and out of the way, and see if I can get this out of the way that way. Because all of these look like they're on this one. Let's see if I can not cut any of these. Alright, well now I gotta try and figure out how to get these injectors out of here, so I'll be back when I can figure that out. Alright, so I got that wiring harness thing off of here. I took a couple of other things off, like the fuel rail and all the injectors. That was the only way I could get these plugs off. And then the little clip things weren't cooperating with me, so I just took them off and threw them in there. I also found a hornet's nest in there, so that was fun. So I think next thing I'm going to do is take off the intake manifold. Might come in here with the shop vac and see if I can't clean some of this up. It's been sitting outside for a while, but might have to take some of this stuff off first to get to these bolts underneath. Yeah, it looks like these are bolts that come out, so I'll take this off. This little oil thing should also come out with that, maybe. Thing's been a 5 so far, so we're gonna start there. Nope, not a 5. Is this not a 6? Oh, yeah, it is. There it is. All right. So now, apply a little bit of leverage. It comes out. Do the same thing for this one, and then I'm probably gonna have to take this water house, or this thermostat housing off to get to those 2 back bolts here. So. Actually, no, I'm just going to do that first. Almost stripped that one out. Alright, well I think you guys get the idea. So I'm going to take this stuff off. I'll see you when I get the manifold off. Alright, so I got everything off of here. I took it off. This is the intake manifold's ready to come off, but I haven't taken it off yet. But if you can see, there's I'm expecting there to be some rust, but that's fine. This has been stored outside uncovered. So, but fortunately this is an aluminum block, so if the cylinders are rusted out, then all I got to do is take it to a machine shop and get new sleeves put in. So, update on the Wasp. So while I was taking this apart, decided to return, and he was understandably kind of upset at me for destroying his home. And a great battle was fought between the 2 of us, but ultimately I ended up victorious. Anyway, so take this off. Well, we tried to take off. There's some more stuff. Also, so this head bolt right here, or not head bolt, this stud right here, stripped out, so I had to drill it out. So now I think this is kind of holding it in place. So, well, it seems like there's something else holding it. I took all these little clips off. Alright, so as you can see, there's definitely some water in there. Ooh. Was that me? So the rest of these, I'm assuming the water is probably in the cylinder itself. All right, I'm gonna go get my shop vac. I'm gonna clean all this out. Get back to you in a minute. Alright, so I vacuumed everything out that I could get. All the water that was in here, all the water that was in this channel under here. Couldn't reach down in there with my shop vac because I don't have the little mini attachment thing. So I think in regards to this damage that I may or may not have caused, I think we might be in the clear, because this piece right here looks like it's just a separate flange so that we can unbolt and then just take off. So we might just be able to get a new one of these. So let's actually, let me see. But in terms of taking this thing apart, this was pretty easy. I did like 90% of this work with 2 Allen wrenches and a pair of pliers. And then I needed a 10mm socket and then a 19mm wrench to get a couple of the sensors out of the way. But this has been, in terms of tools required, this is a lot easier to take apart than I thought it was going to be. Especially with the Mercedes and having the reputation that they have with being just mechanical nightmares. This has been pretty easy. Anyway, it's starting to get pretty dark out here. Man, I've probably got about an hour and a half of daylight left, but I'm sweaty and gross, so I think I'm gonna call the video here for today. So over the next couple of days, I'll think to edit all these clips together, I guess, and then see what happens. Actually, first, before I do that, I'm gonna take this apart and see if it is indeed a flange, and if we can just get a new one. So give me a second. I'm gonna set this camera up. Oh, I'm missing one. Not even surprised. Anyway, I'm gonna take these two. I'm gonna call the video here. I'm gonna take these two out. In the next video, I don't know, I'll probably take the heads off, see what the inside looks like. Well, until then.